Mixtures. This is our third video in our elements, compounds, and mixtures series. So what are mixtures? When you think about mixtures, I want you to think about differences. So think mix, think difference, because mixtures are made up of different types of molecules. And they are not a pure substance. Okay, so think back to our video about elements, our video about compounds, and we talked about how elements and compounds are pure substances. And the reason why they're considered pure substances is because they consist of only one type of atom. So here we have an element, one type of molecule. Here we have an element that has one atom in it. They're all the same, they're all blue. Compound is also a pure substance because it has one type of molecule. All of the molecules look the same. They're all made up of two different types of atoms, a pink atom and a blue atom, in the formula of 2 pinks to 1 blue. Okay, a mixture is different because when you look at a mixture, you're going to see 2 or more different types of molecules. All right, so here we have a compound, here we have an element. Right? They look different from each other, and they're not chemically combined to each other. So let's define molecule. A molecule is the smallest particle of a substance that has all of the properties of that substance. So you can have a molecule of an element, a molecule of a mixture, or a molecule of a compound. So a molecule of an element or a molecule of a compound. Okay, so here we have an element. It's made up of one type of atom. It has one type of molecule. Here we have a compound. It has more than one type of atom, and those atoms are chemically combined. And we show that chemical bonding here by showing that the atoms are touching each other. Okay, so it's important when we say chemically bonded together, meaning that the different types of atoms are actually touching each other. And we have a compound. A mixture is a little bit different. Okay, again, it's not a pure substance. It's going to have more than one type of atom. And we need to make sure that we understand that not all of the atoms are chemically bonded to each other. So here we have the compound molecule, and we have an element molecule. And those two are not touching each other. They're not chemically combined. Okay, so here I have some atoms, and I want you to guess what it is. Give you a few seconds to think about it. What do we have here? Okay, well, we have the same type of atom. They're all yellow dots. So if we have the same one type of atom and it's all the same, it's a pure substance, then we have an element. On this slide, we have 2 different types of atoms. So what do we have? Well, 2 different types of atoms, they're touching each other. So we have a compound. Okay, what about this one? How many types of atom do we have? Well, they're all green, and they're all the same size, so we have one type of atom. If we have one type of atom, then we know we have a element. Okay, so on this one we have 2 different types of atoms. We have the green atoms, and we have the yellow atoms. So we know it can't be an element because we have 2 different types. So is it a compound or a mixture? Well, here we can see that they're not chemically combined to each other. The yellow and the green are not touching each other. So it is a mixture. But what kind of mixture is it? Well, here we have one atom by itself, which is an element. And here we have one type of atom that is combined with itself, which is also an element. So this substance would be a mixture of elements. And we can have mixtures of elements and compounds. Right? So here's the element, here's the compound. And we can also have mixtures of just compounds. Okay, so we have one type of compound and we have another type. Again, they're not physically touching each other. The blue and the pink are touching each other. That's how we know it's a compound. But the blue-pink molecule is not touching the black and orange molecule. So it has to be a mixture. Okay, so let's do some quick examples. We have Coca-Cola. It's a mixture that includes a liquid and it has carbon dioxide in it. That's what makes you burp. And that carbon dioxide is a gas that is dissolved in the liquid. We have Kool-Aid, a solid powder that when you put it in the liquid water, it has the it turns the color of the powder. Pizza is a mixture. You can see in the pizza example that you can see all the different parts of it. You can see the pepperoni, the mushrooms, the cheese, the crust, all of the vegetables. So sometimes with a mixture, you're going to be able to see all the different particles. But as with, the different substances that make up the mixture. But as with the Coke and the Kool-Aid, sometimes you won't. It will be just uniform throughout. Okay, another example of a mixture is color, paint, crayons. If I mix red and yellow, I get orange. I haven't created anything new. I don't have a new substance. And that's the thing about mixtures. Mixtures do not create a new substance. So no new substance. So that means that it's going to have the physical and chemical properties of the previous substances. So think back when we had salt, right? We had sodium plus chlorine made a new substance with different properties. All right? Now, if we take that salt and we put it in water, we have a mixture of salt water. Right? It still tastes salty. It still tastes like salt, and it still has the properties of water, which are hydrating. So it hasn't changed into anything different or new. And that's how you can tell that it's a mixture, basically by looking at if it's changed into a new substance and looking at the physical properties, the chemical properties, and seeing if they're completely different after the new substance or after the combination of substances.